for you, was this an upgrade or a re-implementation?
Ooh, that's funny because we had that conversation before we went through this upgrade. So for us, technically, it was an upgrade. However, our previous partner, not the one that we're currently with, but the one who did the original implementation, had recommended so many customizations and things that we had over 100,000 lines of custom code in our system that weren't being called upon, that weren't being used. They were
Yeah.
just there taking up space. So we did have that conversation on, is it better just to do a re-implementation of Business Central from the ground up,
Hmm.
or should we upgrade our nav system? And so what we ended up doing was when we did the upgrade from nav to Business Central, we didn't migrate over from the old code to the new code anything that wasn't used.
Okay. Yeah.
So sure, technically it was an upgrade, but at the same time, it kind of was a little bit of a re-implementation because, you know, we removed a lot of things from the system that we didn't need anymore.
Yeah. Did the way of working change a lot for your end users?
No, from the front end, you couldn't tell a difference. All this stuff was just code on the back ends that our previous partner thought we needed. Just all these extra customizations, and unfortunately, that code just was never used. And so we ended up just ripping it out of the system. And I always like to run software systems as they are out of the box. I think customizations can oftentimes be very costly and
Yeah.
detrimental to a company if you don't really understand why you're doing these customizations.
Yeah.
So what we did was we just went back to the basics. We reverted all those customizations, took them out of the system. They're not in our BC environment anymore. And now we are just running the base version of Business Central. And going back to those customizations, though, we do have some. We just have a few extra fields
Yeah.
and a few unique code units that were deployed. But we have a running list. We have a document. Anytime that we have to make a change to the base system,
Yeah.
I add it to this document just so that way I know how our version of Business Central is different from the base version. So
Yeah.
this way, I can always make sure that those, tests, are fun, or those customizations are working properly when we do our tests from, version to version upgrade.
Yeah. Okay. So, and apart from the customizations, from you have previously being on nav to then go to BC, the end
Yep.
users didn't have to change their way of working. Business processes didn't have to change at all.
So we did do a lot of optimizations for business processes when we
Okay.
did go from Nav to Business Central, but that was just a choice internally, just to have a clean cut over
Yeah.
from Nav to Business Central. As people are making these or learning how to use this new system, just to make sure that let's go ahead and just bite the bullet and make sure that we make those process changes at the same time.
Yeah.
So that way, it's just kind of one learning curve as opposed to making changes every single week, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
So I know that can get very tricky for end users when we do that.
Yeah. That makes sense.